Morning, everybody. I felt once again a visceral feeling that I need to make this video. And this is something I've been feeling really all along, right from the beginning, right from 2016. I'll give full disclosure once again. President Trump was not my first choice. I was very worried about having him as president. The only reason I voted for him was because Hillary Clinton was so evil and bad. And I really wanted Ted Cruz to be president. And the reason why I was uncomfortable with President Trump is the exact reason why I'm making this video about how wonderful and great he is. The reason I felt uncomfortable about President Trump, about Donald Trump before he was president, is because he is a liberal. And to this day, he is a liberal. And I wasn't sure if he was also really a leftist. I kind of almost thought he was, trying to, because he was such good friends with the Clintons in the past, that this was almost like the producers, make a play that's designed to fail, that type of thing, and that he was just going to throw the race for Hillary. And I was very scared of that. I remember the day before Election Day shaking in my boots. God forbid Hillary Clinton would be president. Someone who since my youth I've felt an utter disdain and hatred for. And here she was going to become the president, God forbid. And so I had to vote for Donald Trump. And how was it that the Republicans could have elected a New York liberal like this? I couldn't understand it, and I agreed with what Ted Cruz was saying about the New York values, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Being a New Yorker, by the way. And then when he was elected, I was hopeful. And when he became president, and when he took that oath of office, and when he gave his inaugural speech, I realized this is something historic and incredible. Because he said this is not merely passing the baton from one party to the other, from one regime to another, from one administration to another. I'm paraphrasing him, of course. But rather, it's restoring and returning the power back to the people. And that's what happened, at least on the federal level. But that's not why I'm making this video. And I want to try to keep it short so it makes an impact. Because Donald Trump is essentially a New York liberal, and yet somehow he won the hearts and minds of the great vast map of the United States who are not New York liberals. He's really the perfect uniter. The Republican Party has always been about union, and the Democrat Party has always been about division. And so this man has not only the potential, but I would say the kinetic energy of union and uniting people. Because here is someone who's a Republican for small government, for lower taxes, for less regulation, for all these things that we value as Republicans. And yet, in his own personal life, he's quite a liberal person, or has been in the past. To this day, I stand by saying that, for the LGBTQ community, he's the most pro-LGBTQ whatever president. And I might disagree with that ideologically speaking, but then I recognize the importance of unity in this country, and not seeking division and not seeking to divide us up. He's the first president to enter the White House not opposing marriage between two members of the same sex. And yet he is painted by the left as this homophobe as this racist. He always says, I'm the least racist person, and it's not a joke. It's true. He's a guy from Queens. Queens is the most culturally diverse county in the world. I lived in Queens for a long time, and I love Queens. And here they're calling him a racist, and they're calling him a bigot, and this and that. Why do they call him that? They're projecting themselves onto him because the Democrats are the racists. The Democrats are the party of identity politics because to them race means something. To the Republican, skin color doesn't mean anything more than eye color or hair color. It is totally irrelevant in the political scheme. I'm not saying that it's irrelevant, but I'm saying it's as irrelevant as religion or other things, meaning we are in a country called the United States of America where these things really are not supposed to matter, and all that's supposed to matter is the individual, and as a republic, protecting the rights of the minority means the minority of one, each individual who's made in the image of God. And that's pretty much where we're holding, but it's the media who won't let us unite. That's the problem. The media and the left, the same Democrats who were the Confederates who seceded from the Union are setting up once again these autonomous zones. They're neo-Confederates seceding from the Union. It's all the same. Nothing has changed. They're obsessed with race, and not only that, but like I've said before, the Democrats are the real racists. They lynch black babies in the womb. Millions and millions of black babies. A black baby in New York City is more likely to be lynched in the womb. And they use this, sanitized word of abortion. And I'm not going to get into the finer points of Jewish law about whether it's murder or mutilation or this. Either way, it's wrong unless you're talking about a case where a mother's life is in imminent danger and she's going to die, and so you save the mother's life. And other than that, you're not allowed to just cut off your finger. Even if you're gonna say it's a part of the body, which is a dispute, you're not allowed to just cut off your finger. You're made in the image of God. That doesn't belong to you. It belongs to God. But if the finger's gangrene and it's gonna kill you, you cut it off. But that's not the point. That's not what's going on. It's a movement by the left of eugenics. That's the history of Planned Parenthood. And now they want to take cops out of the black neighborhoods so good, innocent black people can continue to be the victim of black-on-black crime. If black lives really matter, so then they should matter even when a black person kills another black person. We see what happened out west. What was that story? The media is telling us a Black Lives Matter protester is killed by a luxury car. And in my opinion, skin color, like I said, should not matter any more than eye color. But what actually happened, how they had to twist their own narrative. Was that a person who happens to be white was killed by a person who happens to be black? I don't know if it was on purpose or by accident or what. But if you read just the headlines, you would think some rich white guy, Mr. Burns, killed this poor black girl. I mean, what's going on here? I mean, people get upset when they say, the media is the enemy of the people. The media is the enemy of the people. For them to twist this so much, for them to be seeking to divide this country, when we have a president who has the potential to unite, a president who has helped more people who happen to be African American and other people who happen to be of these various minority groups more than any president since Lincoln. Like, just things have really gotten better because the economy has gotten better and so forth. And so the left destroyed the economy artificially just to try to destroy this president. It's it's, and I'm not saying that the coronavirus isn't horrible, but the fact of the matter is the death rate in the country is pretty much the same as it is any other year. I think it actually went down a little bit. And yes, it's a tragedy to lose so many in our community, so many great people. And again, this is, you're going to ask, well, what do you mean when you say our community? And then you say, that skin color, religion, all these things shouldn't matter. What I'm saying, they shouldn't matter, certainly not on the federal government level. That's what I mean. When Charlemagne the God, I guess is his name, said to Joe Biden, I want to know, what are you going to do as president for the black community? I don't seek out, at least me personally, I'm not speaking, I think maybe a lot of other Jewish people have a different approach, but me personally, I'm not here saying, what is the president of the United States going to do for the Jewish community? When he does things that benefit Jews or the Jewish community, I'm happy. But that's not my question. My question is, what is he going to do for America? I certainly am not saying, what is he going to do for Israel? And that's one thing that I get offended when President Trump, makes it when he speaks to Jewish majority audiences, that he thinks he always has to talk about Israel, but that's not his fault. That's the poison that he was fed by Zionists around him. Like, as much as I am so happy that you have and so proud that we have Orthodox Jews in the White House, but they're still with this backward, anachronistic nationalism of Zionism, this folkish anachronism that really doesn't belong in modern day society. But really, that in a way brings out the difference between America and every other country, because America is not an ethno state. America as a white majority country can elect a black president because we are indeed colorblind. And I had no problem with the fact that President Obama was half black. My issue was with his policies and his ideology, not his skin color. And the lies that, because the left, again, they're projecting their ideas and their beliefs on those of us that disagree with them, because they assume because this is the way they feel, meaning, because they feel that they own the black community. Meaning, for Joe Biden to go and say something like, if you have a tough time deciding between me and Trump, you ain't black. What the hell does that mean? But again, that he gets a pass. He has a history of racism, a history of misogyny, a history of consorting with segregationists, and he gets a pass. President Trump makes comments about consensual, inappropriate relationships, and he's branded as some kind of a rapist. It doesn't make any sense. Meaning President Trump says something about something being consensual. They let you. And they make it sound like this is the worst thing in the world. And he says a disgusting thing. But meanwhile, Bill Clinton actually raped women, and he gets a pass. He's still a darling of the left. I don't know now. And this about unity. The left will not let us unite. The left will not let us unite. Look at what's going on now with Hamilton. Hamilton should have been something that brought the left and the right together in America. Because it covered all the bases that everyone should like. And who is hating on Hamilton now? The left. The left are saying, oh, Hamilton is problematic, should be canceled. You know, whereas you listen to Dennis Prager, and he's playing songs from Hamilton on as bumper music, you know, and it's that same symptom. I mean, that's what's proving with what I'm saying about Donald Trump should be the great uniter, and he is. And it's just the left do not want unity in this country. They are the same people who waged a civil war against us, against this country. And that's why they want to remove and whitewash from history their own history, and remove all these statues of Democrats that I think should be removed. I think certainly their names should be removed from, you know, from army bases and so forth. But it's like, you know, that's why they want to remove this, because because it's them. Thank you for watching. God bless. Please like, share, and subscribe, comment, and we'll see you all later.